Good morning, good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's episode of When Life Needs a Detox, My Life with Multiple Sclerosis. Hi, I'm Carol White, and I am your host and your life detox strategist. Now, I have a few references that I want to include today, so I need you guys to just bear with me. Start here. While I'm doing this, let me say to you guys, thank you so very much for putting up with me and your prayers and your well wishes, because I have had to, over the last several weeks, either postpone or cancel the episodes of When Life Needs a Detox. And you guys have been just supportive and wonderful. And I don't think I could do this without you guys. And I appreciate everything that all of the love, the support. I appreciate it greatly. Please don't ever think that I am ungrateful or I don't appreciate it. And of course, I screwed this whole thing up. Wait a minute. It's actually better than what I did. I actually deleted one of the references yesterday. It was terrible. I had to go back and find it. But I think today's topic will be interesting. I don't think it's what a lot of people are expecting, which ought to be pretty good. I want to see you guys' reaction to this one. And got one more, and then we can get started. Yep, that's it. Okay. All right. Let's get started with today's topic. Today's topic is, it's time to talk about MS and sex, a sexual dysfunction, that is. We're just going to get right to it. Let's keep it real. Nobody wants to deal with sexual dysfunction. Why? Because sexuality is part and parcel of who we are as people. It is one of the qualities by which we define ourselves. Being desired and feeling desirable is what makes this man-woman merry-go-round the incredible ride it is. So when there is sexual dysfunction, you experience losses that are difficult to deal with, and your feelings about you and who you are affect you, your partner, and your relationship. As I was doing my research on this topic, and yes, I do have personal reasons for this topic, just saying, I found out some rather interesting statistics concerning sexual dysfunction and MS. Listen to this. Sexual dysfunction is common among MS patients. As many as 85% of men with MS are affected, and 50 to 75% of the women with MS are affected. 70% of all people with MS have reported one or more sexual problems that have interfered with their sexual performance or their pleasure much of the time. I was not aware of this. And quite frankly, I was glad to find out I wasn't alone. It stands to reason, though. The feelings of sexual arousal start in the brain, down the spinal cord to the sexual organs. Well, MS causes the immune system to attack the myelin covering the spinal cord. This results in the formation of scars or sclera on the spinal cord, which causes delayed, mixed, or confused signals to the body. Now, we talked about this. I'm using my favorite go-to example, which is this cord. Picture this as your spinal cord with MS. You see you've got the black marks. Those would be where your myelin has been eaten away and sclera or scarring has occurred on your spinal cord. Scar tissue does not conduct nerve impulse. That's why your signals are delayed. That's why your signals don't make it. And that's why you get janky signals, because you have scar tissue that does not conduct the nerve impulse. And it stands to reason. Everything, all feeling and sensation, starts in the spinal cord. So if the spinal cord is damaged, the signals are going to be damaged as well. Now, the results of the damage, as far as sexual dysfunction and MS, in women can be, I only did 4 examples. Number 1, loss of libido. 2, vaginal dryness. 3, difficulty achieving orgasm. Number 4, decreased sensation or painfully heightened sensation in the vaginal or clitoral area. Also did 4 for men. Now, men, their damage looks like loss of libido, erectile dysfunction, decreased sensation in the penis. Number 4, inability or difficulty in reaching an orgasm. Now, there are other symptoms and other signs of damage, but these were the top 4 for both men and women. So now it stands to reason that these messed up signals are sent to the spinal cord because of all of the damage to the spinal cord. So that's why we have what we have. Now, I know that it sounds good on paper, but in reality, it does not help. Well, now that we have an idea of what we're dealing with, how do we get to the bottom of our dilemma? Because even though we know why this is happening and we know what's happening, how do we fix it? Well, the first thing you have to do is be honest with yourself or honest with ourselves. And we have to admit that there is a problem. Now, this is not an easy admission by any means. Not being able to perform sexually with your partner is a devastating circumstance. And our first response is to internalize the pain and ignore the issue. This is neither healthy nor productive. The result of this inaction is going to be the loss of self-esteem, self-confidence, anger, stress, and serious depression. Now, you're also going to do a great deal of harm to your relationship by not being honest. So the second thing that you have to do is talk to your partner. You are not in your relationship alone. Your partner, spouse, or significant other is involved as well. You cannot hide this sexual dysfunction from your partner because, truth be told, they already know something has changed. They're not blind and they're not oblivious to the fact that your performance has significantly changed, as has your interest. They're stressed and angry because you are stressed and angry. And more importantly, they're stressed because you don't trust them enough with the truth. And they are helpless to fix an issue that they don't even understand is going on. So you've got to have this hard talk with your loved one. Now, the third thing that you need to do, talk to your doctor. You've got to talk to your doctor. And yes, I'm separating my pages. I'm sorry. Now, keeping it 100, you're going to have these feelings of embarrassment, shame, and your bruised ego is going to play a large part in this. But you have the best resource available to you, and it's all there at your disposal. Now, did you know that according to a report by the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, 63% of us with multiple sclerosis have never talked to their doctors about their sexual difficulties? We ignore our greatest asset and source of information and assistance. If you need help in making the talk easier for you, there is the most amazing thing that I've found. It is called the Multiple Sclerosis Intimacy and Sexuality Questionnaire. It's composed of 19 questions to determine which of the 3 categories of sexual dysfunction you fall into. Now, these 3 categories are primary. It refers to the physiological impairment associated with lesions on the cortex. We've already talked about this. And spinal cord that can lead to numbness or paresthesia. Basically, it's an abnormal burning or prickling of the skin. And I had the pronunciation paresthesia. Oh my God, I'm messing this up. I'll actually put the definition in the comments because I'm screwing this up. But this abnormal burning or prickling of the skin directly affects the genitals. That the loss of libido, the decreased vaginal lubrication in women, and difficulty initiating or maintaining an erection in men. Second category is secondary. That's the non-sexual changes such as fatigue, spasticity, pain, bladder, and bowel functions or dysfunction. The third category is tertiary. Psychosocial variables that can interfere with sexual performance or satisfaction, including changes in social role, depression, demoralization, and interpersonal difficulties. Now, I am going to have to put a warning here insofar as getting help from some MS doctors concerning sexual dysfunction. Now, according to a study conducted by a G. Griswold, now I also have to put a codicil in here. This study was done in 2003. A group of MS doctors were surveyed, and it was discovered that sexual dysfunction is not readily assessed. Now, here's the breakdown for the results from the doctors. 44% of the doctors said that they didn't assess because of the limited time that they have to spend with their patients. And we all know, going into the doctor's office, they have a certain amount of time to spend with you, then they got to cut out. Now, that's true. 15.3% said that this issue was outside their role. 12.5% say that it was due to patient discomfort, meaning we don't want to talk about it. 6.9% blamed lack of professional training, or discomfort, meaning they're not versed in sexual health and it makes them uncomfortable to talk about it. 5.6% cited other priorities. Let it go. 2.8% stated limited medical coverage, so the patient, cannot afford the treatment. Lastly, 2.8% claimed it was too intrusive for patients. Now, like I said, this was done 18 years ago. This is a study that was done 2003. It's 18 years old. But you may still run into one or more of these issues with your doctor. Press forward anyway. This is why they get paid the big bucks. If they can't handle it, they can give you the referrals to other resources that can help you out. And the fourth thing that you've got to do, focus on your treatment, not your dysfunction. Focus on your treatment. Your doctor, based on whether you fall into the primary, secondary, or tertiary categories, can prescribe the appropriate treatment for you. Or they can refer you to a counselor who specializes in sexual dysfunction. They may also be able to provide you with educational material that will help you and your partner get through this together. Now, I told you that this was interesting. Also, I have to say, it is a topic that can't be covered in just the 15 to 20 minutes I do the broadcast. So we're going to be continuing this topic for maybe another week, maybe two, because I found that let me get the name, the Multiple Sclerosis Intimacy and Sexuality Questionnaire was just so interesting. And it's looking over it, it is something that is just absolutely helpful. And I think what I'm going to do is we're going to look in depth into that questionnaire. There are also a couple of other avenues that we're going to look into. As a matter of fact, next week we are going to look at the questionnaire because I'm going to fill it out. I am going to be here next Thursday filling out my questionnaire. Why am I going to be so public about this? First of all, because we all, when we have sexual dysfunction, we are so quiet and we're so closed in, and we think we're the only ones and nobody's going through this and no one can understand. This affects our confidence, our esteem, and our egos. And I want you guys to know you're not alone. I'm doing it because I know I'm not alone. So we're going to fill this questionnaire out next week. But until then, this has been this week's episode of When Life Needs a Detox. I am Carol White. I am so glad that you were able to come and spend time with me today. I love you to the moon and back, and you and I will see each other next week. Oh, also, the Multiple Sclerosis Intimacy and Sexuality Questionnaire, the website is in the feed. I'll put it in the feed so you guys can get that questionnaire, fill it out, figure out which category you fit into, and if it's something you're going through, take it to the doctor. It'll make having that talk so much easier. I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.